At Coffeeists, we've tasted a lot of breakfast blends, but one connoisseur has finally made her choice. Introducing Muddy Paw, coffee with heart and a bark. Well, I think let's do another cup of coffee. You up for one? Here, let me get the sound for this time. The squirrel shouldn't have all the glory here. Okay.
This cup tries to be balanced and coherent and inobtrusively satisfying, and I think it almost gets there. It'd be a very demanding job to take D and E, put them next to one another, and try to say why I like D better than E.
Yeah.
I think there's just more going on. But this is it's kind of quiet, coherent, kind of a layered, tightly knit aromatics, balanced in structure. I'm getting a very sweet wood note, fresh cut wood note. I'll go back to my childhood and say it's fresh cut elm wood, but nobody outside of the Middle West knows what elm smells like.
Middle West would understand it. I would.
Some caramelly chocolate, I think. Some low-toned flowers of some kind. I often think of pistachio as peanuts on steroids.
And peanuts not typically a flattering thing to say about someone's coffee.
No, it's not. No. Well, because the problem is that the term has been hijacked by people who are defining taints in coffee. So the Brazil coffees, natural Brazils, a peanut, that word is the kiss of death for a Brazilian coffee. So
it's at least has to lower the price a little. Yeah.
But I think pistachio has some of the same qualities. There's more going on with it. I'm looking for fruit, whether I get some fruit. I'm not sure. It's a kind of a subdued peach thing.
Peach, okay.
But not very clear. But good solid cup. I like it. I like the aroma. Because it definitely has a sweet floral note, more so, I think, than any of these. I'm taking a sip, Kevin.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
These are so coherent as they go from the aroma to the cup. I mean, they diminish, the aromatics diminish because they have to fit inside the structure that we're experiencing.
Right.
But they're coherent.
Yeah.
They're not surprising. Not disappointing, as often happens with aroma. When you go from the aroma to the cup, you get disappointed because the complexity and excitement that's in the aroma diminishes. But it does diminish, but it just solidifies maybe rather than diminishes. Very nice. It gets chocolatey towards the finish, right?
Yeah, might get a lot of chocolate.
And there's that pistachio peanut thing.
The peanut, comes forward. Yeah. The pistachio comes forward.
At Coffee Review, we often wonder sometimes we get nut notes, but they're not clear, not decisive. And we struggle with how to describe that, because you don't want to say old or stale pistachio, because that wouldn't be fair. So you just have to say quiet pistachio.
Quiet pistachios, okay.
Do you get maybe a little tickle of citrus now in the cup?
Mm-hmm.
I think a little lemon.
Lemon would be good, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
A very impressively classic cup.
Yeah.
Well, Manhattan, Middle West.
Well,
you probably don't have any West Coast coffees at all.
Well, you'll be surprised. Do you know this company? This is Muddy Paw?
Like paw as in dog?
Yeah. Muddy Paw.
Muddy
Paw
no,
Coffee.
I don't know them.
Okay, they They're
Buddy
in
blend.
the Silver Lake in L.A.
Oh, so you did get a
I
West
did.
Coast.
Yeah, I wanted to get a West Coast coffee. I actually was walking down the street in Silver Lake, and I spotted the shop, and I met Darren, the owner. His coffee shop's motto is "Have a cup, save a pup." They donate a portion of their proceeds to local animal shelters and host adoption events. I have come to regard him as he's a very thoughtful roaster, and all of his coffees are blends. I was doing a breakfast blend. I said, I was curious, do you have one you'd identify as a breakfast blend? And this is the one he recommended.
And you asked him for a breakfast blend, and he said recommended Buddy blend.
Yep,
Huh?
Buddy blend. So he said, that's my breakfast blend. He said, that's the popular one right now for breakfast.
That's very nice.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, one thing about the Buddy blend I want to mention, he's the only roaster that went to the trouble of his origin, although it's cryptic, Central South America tri-blend. I would guess there's Brazil in this, and I would guess there's,
some
Colombian.
But it has tri would be a classic American breakfast blend of Colombia, Central, and Brazil. Now, I should say, of course, that seasonally, roasters use Peru.
Oh, of course, right.
Yeah, they usually work it as a substitute for the Central America components, because it's usually the Perus are usually sort of lively and soft, delicate, but lively. Peru is in the southern hemisphere, so like Brazil, it has a winter for us. In the northern hemisphere, it's a winter coffee. In other words, it's middle of our summer when the harvest happens. Central America coffees, it's a winter harvest, and Colombia goes both ways, because half the country is in terms of weather. Is in the southern hemisphere, the southern half, and the northern half of Colombia is in the northern hemisphere in terms of weather pattern. The equator is farther south. That's why Colombia is such a valuable origin for coffee people, because they keep it coming all year long.
Isn't that wonderful? Please like and subscribe if you want to see more shows like this.